two, one. KenCast.
Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday. It is time for KenCast. Thanks for joining us. We've got a very special KenCast. We're less than a week away from the premiere of Cobra Kai Season 5, and there's so much to talk about. Today, I thought we would talk about a lot of things, anything you guys want to talk about, but specifically these characters of Chozen and Kim Da-Eun and how they relate to the story, but also their origins and the importance of the Karate Kid sequels, the new music that we hear and the significance of that. And I thought, who better to come and talk about these things than Brian Fishbach. Good to have you back, Brian. Good to see you.
Good to be back.
Nice.
Good to be back. Good to see you again.
So Brian's been on before. We've seen him all different places. He had this amazing KenCast where he gave his top selections from the Cobra Kai score, and we kind of like went through and rated those. Brian, tell everyone kind of about yourself in journalism and music and just everything.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me back. Greetings from the Valley, the San Fernando Valley, where Cobra Kai takes place. So I'm a music journalist. I write about musicians. Mostly these days, I'm actually writing for the Jewish Journal of Greater Los Angeles. I've interviewed a lot of really interesting people, including, for specifically that publication, interviewed Martin Kove. And he talked a lot about Westerns, so we'll have a lot to talk about, especially the music. And also talked with Leo Byronberg and did a profile on Leo Byronberg and Zach Robinson, also for the Jewish Journal. But I write primarily about entertainment. You know, always I prefer to write about music more than most because I love music. But yeah, I'm a music journalist here in Los Angeles, and it's kind of like Almost Famous, which I watched last night at a drive-in movie theater here over in Glendale last night. But I've been a Karate Kid fan since the 1980s.
That's great. And we definitely want to talk about your long fandom of the Karate Kid movies as well. I'm going to throw up a picture here. This is us from the Troubadour that we got to see live, the performance of the Cobra Kai score. That's Christine in the middle.
And I haven't changed my shirt since then.
Oh, wow. It's the same shirt. That's great. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a fun night. And this was after we did our live stream talking about the music of Cobra Kai. Some other things that we need to, you talked about your work in journalism and music journalism. I want to talk about this too, because people need to watch for your interview with Sean Kane, right?
Yep.
That's coming.
That's right. That's right.
Can you tell everyone, can you tease everyone a little bit about this interview with Sean Kane?
Yeah. We talked about a lot of deep stuff. We really got into the headspace that led to his book, The Way of the Cobra, and his next book, which he says goes deeper and deeper into some of the really dark territory of his life, to really turn, some tough moments into life lessons. And it was a really great discussion, and just a great guy. Really, really is, and I'm excited to share what we talked about with the world when the time's right, sometime in the next few weeks.
That's great. Now, I have to ask this, did he give you any teases about season 5?
No, I told him I want none. I told him 0. I said, I told him if you look on Instagram, I have unfollowed you. I've unfollowed Ken because I have a complete and total, almost irritating aversion to any kind of predictions or speculation as to what could happen. My mind is just blank. I may think about Cobra Kai a lot, but I haven't let my mind go to that side of the story arc. But no teasers. And he did tell me that Hayden Schlossberg directed one of his episodes that he's in.
Okay, that's great.
That's really about it. And he'll be there at the event on Wednesday here in Los Angeles.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Now, will you be at the premiere?
I should be there. That's the plan is to be there.
Great. I'll be there as well. And I'll be doing some sort of live stream at some point, whenever they'll let me, obviously not during the premiere or whatever, but maybe beforehand, just to give everyone a sense of event, because not everyone is in the LA area, unfortunately. But you bring up a really good point about sort of unfollowing and not wanting to know anything about Cobra Kai season 5. I get that. And so everyone in the chat today, everyone discussing the season, we don't want spoilers. If you know something that happens in season 5, we don't want to know about it in this chat. We're trying to preserve our fun and speculation until it releases. It's only 6 days away. So we, after that, season 5 will be released forever and we'll know all about it. So we're just having this kind of fun time right now where we don't know anything about season 5. Right. So we have like a ton of news, and I want to get into like everything, a lot to recap from this week, but some things I want to talk about with you. So let's get into some news.
KenCast news.
Okay, Brian. So we are going with officially released content from Netflix marketing only. And one of those things is the new scene with Terry Silver and Kim Da-Eun. And before we get into that, guys, I just want to say hi to everyone. Thank you. It's good to see you all in the chat. Now off, good to see you. Crazy Bison, the season's going to be crazy. Yes, thanks for joining us. Aaron Brady, hi Ken. Who do you think is more evil, Terry Silver or Darth Sidious? That's tough. Well, I don't know. I think that you could make a case for Darth Sidious because it's almost like this sort of spiritual evilness that he's definitely bought into. Although I don't know, it's that's kind of tough. What would you say, Brian? Is Terry Silver or Darth Sidious more evil? Or you haven't seen Star Wars? That's like the one.
I haven't seen Star Wars, but I was going to speculate. I think Darth Sidious is more, is more emotional and makes better breakfast. I just really loved him in that movie. It was really sad he got dumped at the end. No, I never saw Star Wars, so I don't have any plays. But I do have one question, real quickly. If you can just kind of go over. If people could write in the chat where they're tuning in from. I'm so curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know. I think I saw earlier, George said he was from, haven't been able to attend your few KenCasts, live in Dubai. That's amazing that you're tuning in from Dubai. Yeah. But rewatching them, no. Thank you. And yes, that's the great thing is as soon as they're done, they go into rewatch mode. But George, I'm glad that you're here today with us. Lisa, it's great to see you. Giovanni, can't wait for next Friday. Yeah, that's going to be insane. Roundtable, same here. Can't wait to wake up super early and binge the whole season. Great to see all you guys. Wow, Terry. There we go. Terry, yeah, Darth Sidious is way more evil. Good to see you, Terry. The Big T. Yes, fire. Great. It's always great when the Big T shows up. And thank you. All those checks have cashed, Big T. Thank you so much. Okay, so guys, we are going to get back into some of the new stuff we've seen from Netflix marketing. So you've probably all seen this scene. I've put a link in the description. So this is an introduction to the first new major character, Sensei Kim Da-Eun. And Brian, what hit you as you watched this scene?
The first thing would probably be that, the first thing I thought, and this is going into it cold, I felt like there was a lot of romantic tension between the two of them.
Ooh, wow.
Definitely thought there was a lot of romantic tension, especially because we have, forgot what her name is, but the person that was in episode 1 of season 4 that was dating Terry, I forgot.
Cheyenne,
there we go, that's her name. I definitely felt a lot of romantic tension, and that's, this is, from a writing standpoint, they're going really deep, and this isn't just a nod to the super fans that caught the detail about who trained the trainers of Terry Silver and Miyagi and all these guys. It's really going to be, it's gonna really bring a fuller picture as to why they are the way they are.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's kind of one of the themes, I want to kind of get into today is the idea of the series kind of like expanding the lore from not just the Karate Kid, which everyone loves, the original, it's classic, but the sequels, right? Like these are kind of story threads that come from the sequels. And kind of as a fan, Brian, like, how do you feel about the fact that the sequels are kind of getting their due now? They're getting their opportunity to shine.
Well, what I like about it is that you could take something that isn't, amazing, like even, like before Cobra Kai came out, Karate Kid 3 didn't have the best of accolades. I loved it, thought it was intense. There are people that aren't into that. Through the lens of Cobra Kai, they could take that and make any small, ridiculous details not only make sense, but make Cobra Kai richer in terms of its content, in terms of how it feels. I mean, just for example, just the throwaway line where Terry Silver said, "I was on so much coke." I'm blanking on the actual.
Right.
He was talking about how much coke he was on. I was harassing a teenager for 6 months. That's wild. That's stupid. It's insane. And he admits it. He admits how stupid it was, and it's a testament to how insane he was then. But they're able. It's so much respect for the series, and they're able to take all the best parts of the series and package it into something even better, which I love about Cobra Kai. I'll tell you tiny details. One of the scenes that I actually didn't watch. The end of the scene was the season 3 where they put Clarence the mouse into the Cobra cage, and I thought, okay, Bert names the mouse Clarence. What's that a reference to? And I just looked up Karate Kid and Clarence, and it turns out there's a guy that I think he did some stunts, but did some stunts completely, but he was Karate Kid 2 when Daniel breaks the ice. May have no connection at all, but I just thought, okay, maybe this is a nod to this guy Clarence here.
Interesting.
That was it. Maybe, yeah. It could be.
Yeah, that's well, the great thing about Cobra Kai is that really they work in all of these like Easter eggs and references, and it's pretty crazy just how packed they are of references. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. Kate Maloney, who is a member of the channel, thanks. She says Silver being romantical. I don't know. Well, here's the thing though, Brian. Silver's pretty charming. He always has been, and we haven't seen that too much. We saw that in season 4 with Cheyenne a little bit. Obviously, Cheyenne seemed to think he was amazing, right? At least at the time before he dumped her. And,
before he had his backwards revolution.
Right, exactly. And now he's gone full backwards into full Terry, it looks like, from Karate Kid 3. And we have this scene that, we were just talking about before, and you mentioned might even have some like sexual tension here, some like romantic tension. And maybe that's just the characters themselves. They're just kind of exuding that. But, it's possible, isn't it? Terry could get romantic.
Yeah. And he certainly could. I don't, there's always like the soap opera love triangle or whatever that could be where, some kid who we already know their parents are Terry, and like, that could be there, but it's kind of like that would be the easy way out. In the same way that, like, yesterday I was talking with Sean Kane, and he said, I asked him about being the angry guy in Karate Kid 3, and he said, listen, as an actor, being someone angry, he didn't say it in these words, but it really requires the least amount of range. And having cheesy love triangles or just being like, oh yeah, that's Bert's dad actually, or something. Obviously not, because Bert's short and
right.
Silver's huge.
Right.
Although Bert landed a punch on Terry Silver's stunt double in season 4.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, which I respect. But yeah, I think they have too much respect for the series to go the cheesy route.
Right. Yeah, it's like there's that homage to the 80s-ness of everything, but yeah, they never go too cheesy. It's always, grounded, which I always respect. Kylo Ren, another channel member. Hello, I'm getting my Cobra Kai merch right now. I'm very excited for the new Cobra Kai season. I mean, that's a great. It seems like as the shows become more popular, there's more merch, which is great, right? Like you have some Cobra Kai t-shirts and things like that, right?
Yeah, my mom was able to find me for my birthday a few years ago. She got me a Cobra Kai t-shirt, and it was like the only one that has no reptiles on it. It's just red and yellow. It's great. And my friend Andy, I'll give a shout out to my man Andy. He got me the only hat that I wear that isn't one of my sports team's hats, and it's the Lotus, and it's the Lotus. It's like Daniel's. I'm disrespecting by calling a headband, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hat with it. But yeah, that, and then I got and I'm wearing Cobra Kai socks at the moment. I'd show you, but it's just
yeah, it'd be difficult to get your ankle up there to see your socks.
Oh, there goes one.
Oh, okay. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, it froze. Hang on, everyone. Oh, there it is. Okay, I love it. Cobra Kai socks.
Yep.
It's the best way to keep your seat warm. That is kick ass, right? For your feet. Socks. I don't know. Matt Moore, Ken Cole. Do you think Silver still has Dynatox Industries? He mentioned losing everything and rebuilding. What other industries do you think Terry Silver manages or invests in? Well, this is one of my biggest questions, because I love the idea that Terry Silver is head of Dynatox. Obviously I created a Dynatox commercial for him. And in season 4, we kind of learned that he's maybe transitioned to being a philanthropist. So maybe he still owns that company. I have no clue whether we'll learn about that in season 5, but it looks like he'll do whatever will get him money, but also make him look good. So
yeah. I mean, he lives in Malibu, probably a lot of real estate investments.
Right. And I think, and this is just in my head, I think he owns multiple residences. I think he is super rich. In my brain, he still owns the Ennis house from Karate Kid 3, and he owns probably multiple mansions across the planet, maybe in Tahiti. I don't know. But so I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see if they address Dynatox or not, because I just think it's a great name.
He may even be one of the contractors renovating LAX.
Yeah,
that's big money, little progress. It sounds like him.
Isn't that the truth? My goodness, that really needs a renovation. It needs to be quick, and it's.
I'd love to see him buy Burbank Airport, and so they change it from Bob Hope Terry Silver Airport. That's what they call it. That's a Southern California joke. Sorry, guys.
Well, it makes sense, right? If he's taking over the valley, he's got to take over the Burbank Airport and refurbish it. Maybe put up some Cobra Kai banners and everything. April, how you doing? Good to see you, April. Let's see. Thomas Ian Griffith just tweeted to John Hurwitz, "I knew you'd come around." And I think it's because of they just put up, and I might go see this, guys. Let me know if you want a video. At the Grove, they did like building wraps of Cobra Kai, and like almost like one of the buildings is going to be the Cobra Kai dojo, like at the Grove. It looks epic. And John Hurwitz tweeted and said basically that, man, if Terry Silver's doing this, I might have to go join Cobra Kai. I mean, this is my local mall. And so maybe Thomas Ian Griffith's replying to that saying, I knew you'd come around. So
I just thought of a great question. I'm probably going to do an article about the 2 people running for mayor in LA.
Okay.
I think we should ask both Bass and Caruso, what do you think of Cobra Kai? Because Caruso owns the property that the Grove is on, but we're not getting into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. Of all the important issues facing Los Angeles, that might be. Well, Terry Silver is looking to take over everything in LA, so it'd be important to know where their allegiances lie, right?
Yeah. Seeing how our buddy Kreese is doing over at Men's Central Jail. I heard it's an awful place.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see exactly what happens with Kreese, and I don't know. I think he won't be there forever. I'm just guessing, but I guess we'll have to see. So this scene, obviously, and I don't know if this is supposed to be at the Burbank airport or not. She's coming in, it's an international airport. But one thing that's really amazing about this scene, just take away like the Sith vibes and everything like that, I think is this new theme by Zach and Leo that's kind of playing underneath the scene. Once Upon a Time in the Valley kind of feels like a spaghetti western, feels like all that kind of stuff. Obviously, Brian, you're kind of an expert on music and music journalism. You've interviewed Zach and Leo. What are your thoughts on this new track? It's very different than what we've heard before in the series.
Yeah. So, answer your question. That's what I'm here to do. We'll start with Martin Kove. Martin Kove is a huge fan of westerns, and when I interviewed him, we spent easily half of it talking about how much westerns played a role in his life and career. And I admitted I haven't seen many, but I said, what are five? I asked him what are five that are a gateway to westerns, that a gateway drug to watching westerns, and he told me actually 6 movies to watch. But the common thread here is they all have one of the common threads is they all have music influenced by Ennio Morricone, who made the music to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of film scores, and they sound like the parent of what the Once Upon a Time in the Valley song was. I mean, if you're looking at this, if you're judging the book by its cover, it looks like it's going to be an Iron Maiden type song.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just by looking at the album cover right here, or the single cover, that's what this is coming from. We're gonna see some Western. We're going to be going to Mexico at some point. I don't want to think about what we're going to see there because again, I've kind of cleared my mind of it, but I know we're going to Mexico. So there's going to be some Old West type something, and I think this wasn't just inserted because Martin Kove insisted on it. It's going to be woven in so well. And the other thing, real quickly, and cut me off at any point when I'm just rambling on, but
sure.
I forgot after which season, but Martin Kove talked about it. I wrote about it in the article that I wrote for the Jewish Journal about Martin Kove. Kove took Schlossberg, Hurwitz, and Josh Held to a concert over at I forgot where, but somewhere in LA to see a live performance of Morricone music. See it live and say, hey, this is a bit of my world. This is where I come. These are where my influences come from. These are my favorite movies. This is the sound of it, and it's iconic. People love this stuff. If you talk to any film composer, even if they compose music that sounds nothing like this, they have such reverence. They have such affection for the mood that Morricone was able to create with this music. And here are Zach and Leo, 2 guys born at the end of the 80s,
mm-hmm.
channeling it damn well. And I'm so excited to see what happens. See the Western iteration of Quiver, or Johnny's Story, or Challenger.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Brian,
Yes.
that whole genre, the Western genre, especially the spaghetti Western genre, all of that is kind of removed from what people are watching nowadays. So people maybe who haven't been around, who haven't seen these movies, what does that mean? What type of movie were these? What type of score was this? And what does that mean, or how does that apply to the world of Cobra Kai, do you think?
It's an excellent question. First off, it's always been there. There's the new guy coming to town at the end of season 1, or the old guy coming back to not the old guy, the old guy coming back to town
mm-hmm.
at the end of season 1, and the sound, the low string sound that was playing underneath Kreese coming back. That's straight out of Westerns. That really is. People standing off and facing off, like when they're having a draw or something. I mean, that's how a sanctioned karate match starts. 2 people facing off with each other, slightly more regulated than the Old West. But we're also kind of entering the Wild West of the karate resurgence in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're, the Wild West in the figurative sense, that this is that there's going to be showdowns. There's rivalries and scores to be settled. There's vengeance to be had. There's grudges that are just itching to be exorcised. Yeah, and the movies that I don't think I mentioned them here. The 6 movies that Martin Kove listed. You can see them on rockmusiclife.com. That's my website. But one of them's Tombstone. One of them's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Go check out the website, rockmusiclife.com.
That's in the description.
I listed them here, but yeah, it's gonna play a big role, and probably after we're done rewatching, and then rewatching just for a third time, maybe there may be a surge in people watching westerns, or Cobra Kai fans checking out westerns. But if you're listening over at Netflix and if you haven't done this yet, make sure there's a bunch of westerns for us to watch between Cobra Kai 5 and Cobra Kai 6.
That's a great suggestion. I think we really need to get back into westerns. They were so popular at one point. They were like as popular as superhero movies are now. And I'd be excited to see a resurgence maybe in the interest in westerns. Lupo Music says, right, exactly. I also remember it was Hayden's idea to introduce Kreese with a western style theme at the end of season 1, exactly like what you were saying, Brian.
There's such respect. Like, there really is such respect. It come from these guys. I mean, I don't look at what they've done and see just a power grab. Let's make some investments for our grandchildren's grandchildren, which you see with some other franchises. I see someone with just like complete and total respect for the series and for film and for the viewer's time. We're not going to waste the viewer's time. Jurassic Park. Yeah, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX. I went there for I saw the latest Jurassic Park for 3 reasons, and they were Ellie Sattler, Alan Grant, and Ian Malcolm.
Right.
And glad I saw it, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's an example of a legacy sequel. And pretty soon, guys, I promise, with all this season 5 stuff, I've been kind of behind, but I have kind of an epic video talking about Star Wars and Cobra Kai and those two together. But kind of the bigger point is the idea of how do you do a legacy sequel? And Cobra Kai does it very well, perfectly. And many other franchises have trouble with that. And I think what I'm hearing from you, Brian, is that maybe some of the legacy sequels like Jurassic World, Dominion stuff, they don't quite nail how to do a legacy sequel. Would that be fair?
There's I'm hard to please when it comes to that.
Right.
And that said, I mean, I've enjoyed, there's a lot of sequels I've enjoyed over the years. I've always thought Ghostbusters 2 I thought it was more entertaining than the first one, but that's because the second one had a villain that I actually disliked. I didn't know what the hell Gozer was doing in the first movie, just destroying the world.
Right.
It's a little vague. Whereas the next one, I tried to take the body of Sigourney Weaver's kid. Spoiler.
Yep.
I don't know. There's so much content out there, and with adult responsibilities, there's only so much patience that I'll have for anything. You may notice in a lot of films these days, you don't see long intro credits where it's just music, because it's so easy to lose your viewer. And I respect that. It's just let's get right into it. Do not waste our time, and do a good job. Have respect for the viewer.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm glad you brought up Ghostbusters 2. That's something that Drew Rohally, who I've talked to on KenCast, he also brings up Ghostbusters 2. And I think we all kind of agree that it's really underrated, or that a lot more people like it than, I don't know, than maybe the press or, people in the zeitgeist would have you believe. So that might be worth talking about sometime. Oliver says,
I have a friend that read me an entire blog post about why it was awful. I love that friend, but damn it. Disagree.
Yeah, totally disagree. Oliver says, would Cobra Kai Grandmaster Terry Silver still honor the bargain he promised to Stingray? Well, there's a saying, there's no honor among thieves. And that kind of gets us, Brian, into this next scene that came out. This scene was between Chozen and Daniel, where Chozen says that Master Kim Sun-young from Karate Kid 3 the Way of the Fist, the person behind the Way of the Fist, his style is based on deception, no honor, and no mercy. And so that seems to be the guiding force behind Terry Silver's understanding of Cobra Kai and karate, and perhaps Sensei Kim's as well, maybe Kreese's to a certain extent. So, yeah, I mean, that's a question. Just as a character, would you say that Terry Silver would honor his agreements?
No,
Like,
no, not a chance. No,
yeah,
not only he won't honor his agreements, and he'll definitely cover his ass. But I hope we do see some of Stingray, because as goofy of a character as he was in season 2, guy's an incredible actor. And if you haven't seen him in Richard Jewell, go see it.
yes,
It's incredible. He's a really great actor. And I think, when you saw him in the hospital bed at the end where he's kind of quivering, I hope to see more of him, because just as a character, as an actor, it's great. No, Terry's not honoring anything. He's ruthless. Yeah. And he's think about what his motivation is. He's got all the money in the world. He's got a worshipful group of students. He gave up. It seemed like a really lovely partner. He's out for vengeance. He is operating from an awful, awful place. He was, so we're going to see some really ugly stuff from him.
Right. Yeah. I think you nailed it with Terry. I mean, and that's one of the interesting things about the character, is that he has everything in the world, but it's like, he is out for, I guess you could almost call it petty revenge. Like, all these things are so small compared to what Terry Silver has accomplished in his life. But he's still focused on it. He still wants to have like absolute control over all his enemies. And I think that's what makes me love him as a character, because, the world is not enough. He has to conquer all these little things, all these little kind of petty rivalries and stuff.
And they're not going to fill the hole that John Kreese firebombed back into existence. It's not going to fill. It's not going to fill that hole.
Right.
I know that we don't. I don't like making predictions or anything, but I'll say just one. I'll say this. There was a moment in season 3, I think, where Johnny was applying for a job, and he says to the guy that was interviewing him for the job,
"Yeah,
man, it feels really good to talk about these things." Maybe therapy will play a role in future seasons. And I will say this also, is that LaRusso's what was it? Her cut is Louis' sister should not be practicing her doing her psychology stuff with family. That's just by nature. You can't. You can't do that. She shouldn't be doing that.
It would be unethical to do that.
Yes. You don't do that.
Okay, that's good to know. So maybe Louis' sister has a little bit of Louis in her, maybe bending the rules, not doing.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
I love that character. And for those of you that weren't at the event, the Netflix event that Ken and I met at, Brett Ernst and Dan Arnoux were incredible. They were just the chemistry between those guys, the crowd work. They're wonderful guys.
Yeah, it was an act. It was great. It was wonderful. They played off each other really, really well. Very talented. Yeah. Blackbeard says, a bit off topic. Actually, not really. Do you think they'll do a spin-off show about Chozen's journey from villain to hero, like reverse Breaking Bad? And that's actually a great question, because that kind of allows us to get back into the scene here, because we have Chozen being a major character in season 5, but he was like this amazing villain from Karate Kid 2. I remember him from my childhood. I was afraid of him. His laugh was like sent shivers up my spine. It just sounded like a bully. And Brian, I was wondering if you could talk about, because you've tell us about kind of your history with the Karate Kid franchise and where Karate Kid Part 2 lands kind of in your background.
I don't know how good of a story this will be received, but I remember being at like the JCC nursery school and like playing on something and pretending I was Chozen, like riding down like the zip line to attack somebody. But I attacked nobody. It was all night. Like I didn't hurt anyone. I just kind of like rode down something that resembled like a zip line type, maybe like a pole or something, trying to climb down and pretending to be him. So like I was yelled at for like just practicing Daniel's crane kick on the playground. That was a long time ago, very long time ago. So I mean, if that illustrates where I'm at, or how far back this all goes. But yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of interesting stuff that's gonna come up with Chozen. And I had forgotten really about him until a few years ago. A friend of mine who's a comedian, Seth Lazier, nice guy, great comedian. He told me that when he was living in Seattle, doing comedy in Seattle, he went to a restaurant owned by the guy that plays the villain from Karate Kid 2, and he was like, and he's such a nice guy. And I was like, don't you love it when the villains are just the nicest people in person?
Yeah.
But it can take that too. It can take sometimes it takes that someone that's just the nicest person in the world to know just how have the perspective of really going that deep and just being the worst that they could possibly imagine.
I know, and honestly, that's my experience with the Karate Kid villains, at least the actors who played them that I've met: Thomasine Griffith, Sean Kane, and then also Peter from Cobra Kai Companion knows Yuji Okamoto. Everyone says he's amazing, and it's like these guys played such pivotal villains from my childhood or whatever, but in real life they're just so nice. And I think there's something to that.
I'll say this about Karate Kid 2. I'm not a drinker, but if you're looking for a drinking game to play, drink every time someone says coward or honor in Karate Kid 2.
Right.
They say it a lot.
That's a great point. And that really kind of gets to the stakes of bringing Chozen in, because his background is all based on honor. He, the worst insult would be calling someone a coward. And that's a different mindset than Terry Silver. We were just talking about a person with no honor. And so if someone like Chozen were to call Terry Silver a coward, I don't think he would care that much.
It would wreck him. I think it would put him in an irrational state of mind, like calling Marty McFly chicken.
Right. Like it's the fact that it's an insult, right? That would set him off. Yeah. But like, as far as Terry Silver wouldn't worry about having no honor, just as that wouldn't bug him, but that would bug Chozen. Whatever his sense of honor is, he wants to hold to that. And then so this kind of like these story threads that come from Karate Kid 2, Karate Kid 3, it seems like we have this one side that has honor, Chozen, and this other side that's based on deception and has no honor. So I don't know. To me, this seems like it's really setting up an interesting battle. It reminds me of what you were saying about the Westerns, this idea of lawlessness in the valley, and you have certain characters that have a code of honor and some that don't.
Like Tombstone, we got a showdown at the OK Corral. Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp.
That's
Jesse Kove, one of Martin Kove's twin kids, is going to be in a Western film. And when I had talked to him, he was growing out his beard. And when I saw him at the event because he's going to be playing, I think he'll be playing Wyatt Earp in some. I don't remember what it was, but I saw him at the event in April that we went to, and I was like, and I see the beard's coming in nicely, because he was like, I'm growing it out, so we could have that like Old West.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, mustaches make people fierce.
They do.
Not necessarily in a good way either, but just there's a ferociousness.
They know what they were doing back then, didn't they? Matt says, I know everyone loves Chozen, but I thought as a character he was the weakest and least intimidating bully in the film series. That's very interesting. I know people have strong feelings about Chozen either way. Like for me, he reminded me of a lot of bullies in my school. So for me, he was very effective. Pinpoint says, I would love a spinoff where we see the parallels between young Miyagi and young Master Kim, how we see the two become masters of their own styles. Love the videos, Ken. Yeah, a lot of people bring up this idea of doing spinoffs that go back, that kind of fill in the blanks, that detail the history and the origins of these fighting styles. And Brian, what do you feel? How do you feel about like the idea of doing prequels or spin-offs, that type of thing?
Look, I if done well, there's only one way to tell. I mean, to make them, if you feel the need to make them, make sure you're doing it from the right place. Having reverence, respect for it. I think, when doing something where we're having somebody play Mr. Miyagi, even as a young adult, that is such a high bar to set. It's I feel nearly impossible. I would say they're set up. You're set up for disappointment because there is nobody else. There is no Pat Morita. If you get somebody that can do it, but there is an unrepeatable magic that was with Pat Morita himself. And so what I like about the series is that there was one time they kind of had like a cosplay of Miyagi is when they had a shot of him looking like a body double looking at the yard at the dojo.
Yes.
And that was it. I mean, they're not going to go back in time like we see with young Johnny. Like I feel like they just have too much respect and just know like we don't win with this. There's no way. But maybe they do though. Maybe they do. Call me out and say maybe they'll say hold my Coors Banquet and blow us away. But speaking of sequels or spin-offs, the news that came out in the last month was that Schlossberg, Hurwitz, and Held are making a film about the two valets that go on a joyride with
Yes.
Ferris Bueller's car back in 1986. Right. And I have no idea what to expect, but I assume the film's going to be a 1980s homage to the city of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see. Maybe they'll run into John Belushi, maybe played by Jim. Who knows? It'll be interesting. But there's some people that do it with their heart in the wrong place, do it for the sake of doing it, and some do it because they really want to see and do justice.
Well, yeah, and kind of to build on that, with John, Josh, and Hayden, we were talking before about legacy sequels and how sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. I think it takes a very specific talent to be able to look at something, whether it's a movie, show, a character, and understand why it was widely loved and go into that world and be able to make more of that and kind of reflect all those qualities that people loved. And so, all their stuff is great. And especially I'm looking forward to these ideas to enter into these worlds. They just have like that talent, that sort of genius to go back and enter these worlds from new directions. And so, I can't wait to see what's going on with this, with the Ferris Bueller spinoff. That's going to be fantastic.
I hope it's not Independence Day Resurgence. I hope it's
right. I don't think they'd do that.
No, they have more respect than to do that. I've said that multiple times. This could have been so bad. I'm not going to say which film it was, but I texted a friend that's close with one of the Cobra Kai directors, and I said, I just watched this, and it made me appreciate Cobra Kai so much more because this was so bad. This was such a stinker. I'm not going to say what it was because a lot of people liked
it. Was it recent?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We can guess. You guys can guess what that might be. Aurelio, good to see you, a channel member. I've been looking forward to it. Daniel, Ali, Kumiko, Jessica, Amanda love Polygon. Come on, writers. It'll be fun to add Hallmark Channel element to Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because back in another KenCast, people were talking about the idea of a Terry Silver sitcom called Totally Terry, where he's just acting like Terry. And this would be kind of a fun, could you do a rom-com kind of spin on Cobra Kai with like a completely different tone? And I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Sure, but it's got to be hilarious. Otherwise, I'm not watching.
Right. I mean, that Love Polygon just screams hilarity to me. I'd love to see it, even if it only lasted one episode.
Yeah, or if it's just they're in the same room and somebody is just kind of enamored by the way somebody looks or something like that, and they're like, I can cut the tension with a knife in here. I saw what you were doing, and then but I can't imagine them seriously taking that on unless it really illuminated some other issue that was really deeper there, like a rift in Daniel and Amanda's marriage or something.
Right. Well, talking about like all these kind of classic characters, we have yet to see Jessica yet. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I hope we do. Going back to Karate Kids 2 and 3, the last Cobra says Karate Kid 2 and 3 should have been switched honestly, Chozen fought Daniel to the death. Mike Barnes wasn't as intense. A lot of people have said that. Like, they feel like the stakes in Karate Kid 2 are higher. So that should have been the third movie. And, you know, the rematch for the championship in the All Valley with Mike Barnes or whatever, that should have been number 2. How do you feel about that?
I think to switch a couple of things around, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it really does. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. It really does. It makes a lot of sense to me. And there's a couple films that kind of like that. You know, Mighty Ducks 3, I thought, you know, could have been the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one could have just been straight to DVD. I mean, that one they were just basically like, we don't want to film this in Minnesota. Let's just do it all in California, and we'll set it here too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And Kylo Ren, thank you for being a channel member, Kylo Ren. Ken, I got a good question right now for you. And do you think Silver looks like Walter? You know, I haven't seen the Now You See Me movies yet. I know I should because I love illusions and, you know, magic and stuff like that. So I am not sure which character Walter is and who plays him.
Why don't they name the sequel Now You Don't?
Now You Don't. Okay. Yeah, I know that, right? Yeah, that would have been perfect. Yeah. But yeah, I need to check those movies out because I do love illusions. Let's see what else is going on. Well, okay, let's talk about the scene again, Brian, because Zach Robinson actually tweeted when this scene came out, he tweeted that there's a new theme alert. Like, there's a new theme running under this scene. And I don't know, did you detect that theme when you were watching this scene?
Well, I was thinking more when watching it and listening to the sounds, was that when he said new theme alert, that really it isn't just new song alert,
right?
But new theme. So there's going to be reprises, and there's going to be it sounds like there's going to be quite a bit of Western music. I could be wrong. Find me in a week. But I think that there's I don't know, we'll see. But one of the things that kind of carries people from, you know, in the background, carries people from season to season, episode to episode, scene to scene, is the music that we're familiar with. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think they're going to go all in on this. Just like now they're going to be a Western, you know, Cobra Kai in space. You know, like it's can do that, but there's going to be some grounded reality. In a screenwriting class, I was told that, you know, for like a comedy, which this is a comedy in some ways, or it's just very well written, is that your audience will forgive you for one miracle, just one. So if they go to space, you know, or something, the example that he gave was in the movie Big. Tom Hanks becomes big. That's the one miracle that happens. Everything else is grounded in somewhat reality. So we'll see.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't think we're going to see just like Cobra Kai as a Western. I think it always has been a Western in just how it kind of moves along. It's definitely more Western than Disney drama, which, you know, because they have people that grew up that cut their acting teeth in the Disney world. This is so far from it. This is Cobra Kai's great, but I'm preaching to the choir here.
Right. I know. I'm interested to see what that theme would be too. If it's going to come back under Sensei Kim Soon-young, I don't know if we'll have flashbacks or something like that, but yeah, lots of great potential for that theme. I'm excited to see how, as Brian says, it will come back repeatedly, probably through season 5.
Go
ahead real quick before I change the subject.
I just one of the most intense scenes in the first Karate Kid movie was the Daniel reading the letter that Miyagi received about his wife dying in the Japanese American internment camp, and wonder if any of that will come up. I don't know how, but it was a really intense thing, and John Avildsen, you know, was told by the production company that scene in particular like stopped the movie. They thought it was worthless, and no, it gave the depth that the film really needed. Just curious to see if we do that, because that's It's not a Western. It's a horror film is what that could portraying any of that could be.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great point. Kate, channel member, thank you, Kate. I'm selfish because Glory of Love is my favorite song, and it wouldn't have fit in with Karate Kid 3. Well, I bring up this comment because, Brian, at some point in the future, we're actually probably going to be talking about actual song tracks from Cobra Kai and Karate Kid and the favorites and everything like that. So I think once we get past the release of season 5, and who knows what new songs might appear in season 5, right? So
there was one that was teased by some. I'm not going to say who it was. I mean, it's public domain. It was on the Cobra Cove's podcast, or what do they call it? And somebody was like, "Yeah, this is awesome," and someone that had made a song was on their show, and they were like, "Yeah, tell the Cobra Kai people use my song. I'd love for them to use it. Who knows if they actually are, but we'll talk about that after season 5."
Right. Well, also people are talking about romance, saying I much prefer Daniel and Amanda's dynamic in Cobra Kai than Daniel and Kumiko in Karate Kid 2, right? Because, Kumiko didn't come back with Daniel. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, people have very specific thoughts of the different romances. And I don't know, Brian, I thought about doing a video once about like who's Daniel's best match, as a romantic match, and out of all the movies. And I don't know, who's your favorite love interest for Daniel? Amanda.
I really like Amanda.
Tell us why.
Well, because I'm a grown ass adult, and I know that feel like the two of them have there's a kinship they have, but it's also, that's the way it's been presented to me. I think she's wonderful with that. But also, like, the high school sweetheart kind of thing, like, I think it's a bit played out. I think it's a great twist that that Daniel and Allie didn't end up together, and I think Amanda. Amanda, just one word, Amanda.
Yeah, and sure. A lot of people say she has these amazing qualities. She's so smart. She might be the real brains behind the success of the LaRusso auto dealership, and that she might be able to go toe to toe with Terry Silver. She might have those qualities, intellectually to go toe to toe with Terry Silver.
Yeah, and they definitely told, not showed, in the movie in the 4th season, or it was the 4th season, where she talked about her background as a troubled youth, or youth with a lot of anger issues or whatever. They told, not showed, which you're not supposed to do, but
right.
It worked though. It worked. She just she told something that she had been ashamed of and hid, and told Daniel that she got into a lot of trouble as a kid. And when we saw the Netflix event in April.
Yeah.
When someone said something, she just goes, "Yeah, she's a straight thug."
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yep. It's and that was a great event too. Paley Fest. Amazing to hear from all that. Marianella says it'll be interesting to see the first meeting between Johnny and Chozen. How do you think it will be? It's so fascinating. I assume that Johnny's going to Mexico. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be after he gets back. I don't know. But a lot of fans have been wondering all these years, because all the Karate Kid movies are kind of siloed. The characters are sort of separated from each other. So the great thing about the Cobra Kai series is that all these characters can kind of meet and come together. And, who knows? What would it be like? Would they be antagonistic, or would they immediately kind of be friendly? My sense is, if Chozen is a man of honor, and he is, and Johnny is too, like, he's very straight up. That's one of his qualities. He is straight up, and I think he respects people who are straight up. So in that sense, I think they'd get along.
I think they get along. Like, I just have this hunch that the guy that tried to kill Daniel and the guy that in Daniel's mind tormented him are just going to get along swimmingly for some reason.
Yeah.
Just a hot take. Nothing really. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm ready to. I have left my mind blank about it, so I'm ready to find out.
Indeed, I am totally open to what they do. Carrie jumps in and says Amanda has that fire that Kumiko doesn't. Yeah. Matt Moore says nothing beats the magic of Allie with an I. Elizabeth Shue is so classy and wholesome. Yeah, there's that too. I guess my question for Matt would be, who is she better with? Is she better with Daniel, or is she better with Johnny?
Or Dr. Schwarber.
Or right, exactly, Dr. Schwarber. Yeah, it's great name. Aurelio says Amanda's strong but boring. Allie is fun. Interesting. Okay.
You're strong but boring. No, I'm just kidding. But fun. No.
It's
kidding. I don't know.
It is interesting because Elizabeth Shue just has that special quality to her that, she has that. I don't know. Amanda though is fun too. The thing is, we haven't seen Allie in a situation where she's a mom and having to deal with all these kind of pressures. And, we haven't seen her as a doctor, dealing with those high pressure situations. Whereas Amanda, that's kind of her mode. She's very responsible. She has to take care of the dealership, her family. We haven't seen Amanda let loose. I think Amanda has that fun part to her personality too.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely does. But I think where I had the most respect for Amanda was at the country club. Matt Moore over here. Neither Johnny nor Daniel deserve Allie, in my opinion. They all deserve to go their. They all had to go their separate ways for sure. They separate all three of you people. But I think it's the third season at the country club where Amanda says, "You are the Allie." I forgot what the words were. Forgive me for butchering it, but she was like, "I have got to talk to you," or something like that. Where she was so excited to meet Daniel's high school girlfriend, and just like, okay, let's hear about all this shit that Daniel probably stews and cries and swears about. And Allie's just like, oh yeah, and he was covered in spaghetti. It's hilarious.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. It's like, it's great because
it shows a lot in Amanda, because this person's definitely made out with her husband before at the very least. And I have a lot of respect for it. It takes a lot of confidence for someone to be able to do that, and just to not feel like jealousy or anything, just curiosity, and just they're bonded over the kinship that they both love the taste of Daniel. Sorry, that was vulgar.
Right. But I mean, you're right. It's like, not everyone would be okay with that, but she is. You're right. She has that confidence. She knows who she is. She knows that she's with Daniel. She has confidence in their marriage. And so she's happy to talk with anyone who's played a part in Daniel's life, which is great. Carrie says Amanda cracked up with the Billboard comments in season 1. Yeah, I mean, she has a great sense of humor, and I think she knows not to take herself too seriously, which could be one of Daniel's maybe weaknesses. Is he really, really takes himself very, very seriously, and he doesn't seem to be able to move on or to brush things off very easily.
That's the whole premise. I mean, that was beginning of season 2, and it was like, what was it? Was it when the song "How Lucky Can a Guy Be" or whatever? And Daniel's in his car and he looks over and he sees the Cobra Kai dojo.
Right.
And he has this, as opposed to rolling his eyes, he recoils in horror. So those wounds are still there.
Yes, indeed. Kylo Ren said he's Walter is played by Daniel Radcliffe, and the actor who played Harry Potter is Daniel. Oh, okay. So that's Daniel Radcliffe's character. Okay. So he's saying Daniel Radcliffe kind of looks like Terry Silver. I don't know. Maybe he kind of looks like him in that movie. I'm not sure. But here's another connection for you. Daniel Radcliffe will be playing Weird Al Yankovic, and that movie called Weird is going to be scored by Zach and Leah from Cobra Kai. So that's kind of a cool connection, I think.
Amazing. And Weird Al is, if you haven't seen a Weird Al show, you don't have to be a fan of his music. You just have to have a sense of humor and love, just love music. His shows are so much fun.
They are. And I'll be honest with you, Brian, Weird Al Yankovic is the only artist that I have owned every album he's ever put out. Nice. Ever since I was in 3rd grade, I have gotten every Weird Al album. I love the guy. And
favorite album or favorite song
from Weird Al? Oh my gosh, that's really tough. I don't know if I could say a favorite song. There are a number of really great albums. In 3D, I thought was really good. I listen to Even Worse quite often. Off the Deep End's a great album. I loved Running with Scissors. I thought that was a great album.
Yeah.
Like when it came out, I thought it was a fantastic Weird Al album.
We don't, as a human race, we don't deserve Weird Al.
Yeah, I agree. We don't.
We just don't.
Yes.
We got him anyways. And I'll tell you something off camera about Weird Al.
Okay.
movie.
Looking forward to
All
it.
good things, just all good things, really.
Oh, excellent. Good. Ken, in your childhood years, did you get the 1986 Remco Karate Kid figures? I used to have Daniel Mr. Miyagi when I was 10 years old. No, I never did. That was actually, I was probably a little bit young. I remember going over to friends' houses and their older siblings had, if I remember right, I think the figures would like twist and like smash. Well, I think it was like from Karate Kid 2 where Daniel could twist and like smash blocks or something like that. And I remember seeing that action figure, but I didn't quite understand, who that was or what movie that was. So I think I missed it. I never got those. Brian, did you get those action figures?
Didn't have these action figures. I had some Ghostbusters action figures. I still have them. And I got my nephew some as well. But I'm looking these up on Google image search. Wow. An unopened box. It's like $522.
Wow. Did you just look that up? Wow. That's incredible. Oh, wow.
I just looked it up. Yeah, these look cool. I mean, this is great. I'm not going to belittle this at all. This is really great. I like it. Oh, looks like there's even looking at one here with it looks like it's Daniel. I'll just send you the link. Can I send you the link? This is cool.
Absolutely.
Private chat, I guess we'll do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll bring
this. This is awesome. Yeah.
I'll put this up. Lupo, I agree with you. The most badass one is Marissa. Yes, that is an amazing Cobra Cole reference. Thank you so much, Lupo Music. I appreciate
Slime ball.
it. Slime ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring this up because
this is pretty cool.
Yeah. It'll take just a second. This is the action figure line. Check this out.
This rules. I love this.
Right. And I think did those blocks fall apart?
Looks
I think
like they
so.
do. Looks like
yeah.
They're
if I remember right. Oh, that's a different series. But yeah, I love that. I would have loved that. Okay. So so I have a question. That's obviously Miyagi on the left. And then
he's built like a running back in this one.
He is. I mean, that is a buff Miyagi. And then Daniel to the left, who looks, a little slimmer, but still pretty buff for a kid. Who is that to the right?
Is that Chuck Norris?
It looks like Chuck. What character is that supposed to be?
Chuck Norris or Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
That I don't know. I don't think that's from Karate Kid, is it? It looks like
Chuck Norris was in the third one briefly.
No,
wasn't he?
I don't think so. That would be amazing. I don't think he was, though. But as you can see, like this line had to do with Karate Kid 2. So on the right hand side, we have Chozen.
I made that up.
And Kreese and Johnny. But the question is, guys, who is that? Oh, it's Stingray. People said this is a prophecy of the character of Stingray back in 1986.
Or maybe it's the brawny guy.
Which one was that? Oh yeah,
it's the paper towel dude.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. That's wild. Yeah,
but
let me know, guys.
On the right side, looks like we got Chozen, we got Kreese, we got Johnny. Did you notice that in Amanda's flashback in season 3 that where she's being murdered by Tori? Tori's wearing like similar patterns to what Chozen wore at the end of Karate Kid 2.
Yes, and did you notice that move right before she dunked her head? It was like a very Karate Kid 2 move, like with the thing coming. It's like the whole scene was almost like a Karate Kid 2 reference. It was pretty amazing.
It just the Karate Cobra Kai just oozes respect for all the best aspects of these films.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's chalk it up. That's Stingray.
We're just going to call it a Stingray. And then you have the fly. Look at that monstrous fly. That's so great.
Yeah.
Kate Maloney says maybe Sato. I don't know. That is a different, because the headband indicates Cobra Kai. It's Bobby. That is one bearded, buffed out Bobby. My goodness. Yeah. That's so.
What the hell
that's
is
so
that?
cool.
It's Bobby.
I don't know, guys. That is fun though. Anyway, we need a line of Cobra Kai action figures. Like those don't exist, do they? If they have, I apologize, guys, because I haven't been scanning Cobra Kai figures news about that. But I know that there was some kind of like mashup with Ninja Turtles. I don't know if it was Cobra Kai characters as well, but I think we need some official action figures, like an official line that includes Terry Silver.
Netflix.shop Cobra Kai series DLX action. Damn. Look at these. Yep. We got. I think that's a. We got a Daniel. We got a Cove. We got a Johnny. I think.
Oh, what
Nice.
have I been doing? I've missed that. I need to get those.
Yeah. Can I borrow $149, please? $449.95.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's cool.
Matt Moore makes a good point here. You know, an often overlooked and beautiful part of the films was the bonsai tree metaphor for Daniel. In the third film, it breaks and survives. Karate Kid 3 doesn't get the credit it deserves. So I mean, I agree. It's a really nice visual metaphor. And I don't know, Brian, I don't know if we've talked about Karate Kid 3, but like what do you think about Karate Kid 3? That's one that gets a bad rap. I feel like, you know, the way Ghostbusters 2 gets a bad rap, Karate Kid 3 kind of gets a bad rap. Like maybe the critics weren't that warm to it when it came out, but it's actually a lot better than what people say and they just dismiss it.
On one hand, I want to give the Johnny response. Wait, so you didn't have to compete at all, and they just put you in the finals?
Right.
But I think Mike Barnes, his intensity was so palpable. Like it really was. His intensity was great. Loved it. And watching Daniel get taught, watching him bleed. I mean, that stuck out. The first time I ever heard the word ribs was in Karate Kid 3 when he was when Silver was teaching Daniel how to punch, how to break people's ribs. That was the first time I ever heard it.
Right.
You know, like yeah, Karate. I mean, look, it's a Karate Kid movie in the Miyagi universe. It's and I think at the end when Miyagi yells at him. Like again, please don't be bothered by my misquoting, but he said something about, you know, can lose to opponent, but must not lose to fear.
Right.
You know, and that was still had the touch.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the really great Mr. Miyagi moments in that movie. And Kate Maloney says it needed a good script doctor. I think from everything I know, and I want to know more about the production of that movie, but I think it was just a lot of last minute rewrites. Like Kreese was the main villain up until 3 weeks before the start of shooting. Then they had to invent Terry Silver because Martin Kove got an offer to do a series. And so it probably was a lot of things just coming together, a lot of rewrites at the last minute. And so they probably didn't get a chance to massage all these things. And some people have pointed out it might have been rushed as well to get it finished for summer of '89 when they probably should have put it out in the fall, because the summer of '89 was just full of incredible movies, must-see classic movies and sequels. Batman, Ghostbusters 2, Indiana Jones, even stuff like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That was competition. Like that was just an incredible. Look Who's Talking. Stuff that if you're a kid and wanting to go see Karate Kid 3, families probably had a budget of like how many movies they're going to take their kids to see in the summertime or whatever. And I don't know. They probably should have waited till the fall. I don't know what happened as far as that went.
One quick Karate Kid 3 production note is over the years I've looked this up, and every time I forget it, but I'm looking it up now, and how with it up because I'm talking to you guys.
Sure.
The place where the bonsai tree was placed, I forgot the name of what it was, but it looks like a really just beautiful place. Like if I weren't terrified of rappelling, I would go down there and see that. I think it's in Oregon or Northern California somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of going there sometime and doing a video. And so if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see that, because I agree. It looks kind of like a cool place. Two Ponage says, without part 3, there wouldn't be the Cobra Kai episode where Daniel told he was once a Cobra Kai student too. Right. The Karate Kid 3 is massively important to the Cobra Kai series because it's just full of Cobra Kai lore. And so I think that's going to be a lot of fun now for people to go back and watch Karate Kid 3. Because, you know, there's that heightened tone. And I think Ralph Macchio said something like this. There is a heightened tone with the Cobra Kai series and, you know, the good versus evil and the Western aspects that we've been talking about. And there is that bit of a tone in Karate Kid 3. Like the first movie was, it was pretty mellow. It was almost documentary like. It felt, very grounded and everything. Part 2, it's a bit more heightened. You're going to Okinawa, stakes of life and death. Part 3, you have Terry Silver and, kind of this life and death. Everything's very much heightened. And that tone, I think, is carried over into Cobra Kai. And I think you see a lot of those aspects of Daniel LaRusso as a character, where he's just sometimes can get very agitated. You have those aspects that don't make him look amazing all the time. And the series really kind of leans into that Daniel isn't like this perfect hero. He's got these flaws that we saw in Karate Kid 3. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
I agree. Nobody's completely wicked. Even Kyler, his dad beats him, wants him to go to Harvard. He wants to party at ASU. But Kyler clearly, he's got parents that haven't instilled in him anything about who they really are, so they're probably very guarded, or something. I mean, I think there's even Silver. I mean, when you see when his butler was lighting the creme brulee, I mean, you see the flashbacks when they're lighting the flame, and he's having the flashback to almost being executed or seeing an execution. I mean, there's everyone in some way has been a victim or has been hurt, and that's where they're operating out of. Even the most evil, where there was some vulnerability in the past, and this is no one's completely evil, but it's just what we see in the moment at the time. So
right,
and even Daniel, he's just like he when Johnny's going like this at the annual meeting, he's trying not to get riled up, and Daniel's like, "This is bullshit. This guy was the biggest bully in my class." He's like, what did Johnny say? He was like, "I don't even know who the hell Terry Silver is."
Right, exactly.
That was great.
I love that. It was,
and at the time, it was just like, they're just trashing Karate Kid 3 for being okay.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, that was great.
That got me excited though. Like I stood up and I was like, "Whoa!" They actually named drop Terry Silver in season 1. And if you do that as a writer, it's like you do that for a purpose. I'm like, hope is a lot. Immediately, it's like Terry Silver, if this series goes on long enough, he will appear. And that was just so amazing they did that. They didn't pretend that Terry didn't exist. He was there from season 1, which is great. We have an update. Blackbeard. Okay, the Stingray action figure is a Dragon Force action figure of a karate master. It looks like they just put Karate Kid clothes on it. Interesting. Okay, so it's not official, but you know what? Now we'll call it the Stingray prophecy. It is Stingray. Well, so Brian, we've had this really great discussion today. Going forward, we've talked about a little bit about Kim Da-Eun and kind of like her code of no honor, no mercy. And we have Chozen, who's another master who his code is honor. Yeah. So we talked about these themes musically wrapping up into the idea of Westerns and, the great qualities of the Westerns. So what do you, with all that knowledge, what are you looking forward to in Cobra Kai season 5?
Going to be vague because I'm not letting myself go to like the places that, or I'm going to see particular scenes.
Right.
I'm looking forward to growing with the series. I mean, I feel like I come out of it with I feel like I come out of it as a better person. My grudges start to kind of fade away a bit more.
Right.
I'm entertained. I'm just sorry, I'm going to give a really lousy answer here, but I'm just looking forward to a moment when it's done and just being like, wow, I am really grateful that I have internet, I have a TV, I have my eyesight, I have my hearing, and this happened.
Right.
Just gonna be grateful that this exists. Yes. Watching something that you absolutely love. Not the answer you're looking for, but just looking forward to being happy.
I 100% agree with everything you just said. One thing you said earlier, and you can drop this, you don't have to comment on it, is you talked about season 5, the Western themes, and you talked about the shootout at the OK Corral. Do you think there's going to have to be some sort of shootout of some kind?
There's been a shootout in every season.
Yeah.
Or a melee. It doesn't necessarily have to involve guns. But there will be some scores to be settled, as they say.
Yes, I think so. Okay, everyone, visit Brian's website. It's down in the description. We're going to be looking forward to an interview you did with Sean Kane, and you did that yesterday, right?
I did it yesterday, yes.
Okay. And so when can we look forward to seeing your interview with Sean Kane?
I don't know. I hope soon. It's a really good question. I haven't placed it on my calendar yet or anything. It's unlikely it's gonna. Maybe I will do it this week.
Okay.
No one call me tomorrow. I'll work on it tomorrow.
What is the best way to follow you so people can read that when it comes out?
I would follow me on Instagram. It's Brian, BRIANF, as in Frank, yeah, YEAH, Brian F. Yeah. That's where I'll post it. But it'll be on the Jewish Journal's website. But yeah, that's where you find my stuff, and you'll also see, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see there's just lots of posts about the film Con Air. That's because last week I hosted the 25th anniversary cast reunion of Con Air.
Yes.
Out here in LA, Glendale area at a drive-in, and it was awesome. We had cast members come back, and you could tell it really meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to the fans to meet people and ask questions. We even had a bunny and a box. It was great.
That's great. That's one of the great things about Brian is he organizes these absolutely amazing things. And do you have any plans to do any other?
Yeah, we got another. There's another 25th anniversary coming up. I don't want to say what it is. Should I say what we're trying? I haven't made any phone calls about it yet.
Right. You can float the general idea, like you would like
Starship
to do.
Troopers, 25 years of Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah,
I don't know who would show up.
Yes,
but there's people still alive, and there's a lot that live in the LA area. My friend Sean and I love that film. It'll be 25 years old on November 7th, and working on seeing if we can get a 25th anniversary reunion with maybe even MPH, who isn't in the Cobra Kai universe, but he is in the John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg universe, because he was in not one, not two, but all three Harold and Kumar movies, and he was in Starship Troopers. Great film, incredible film, great soundtrack, and if you hate bugs, it's a great film to watch.
Exactly. Yes. Matt Moore says thank you, Ken and Brian. Great chat. Thank you, Lisa. Bye, Ken and Brian, for an amazing stream tonight. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Brian, for joining us today and telling us your knowledge, sharing your knowledge and wisdom about the series. We look forward to talking with you again. I know you have tons of musical ideas, which will be fun. Everyone can join in. After we see the season 5 premiere, I'll probably see you at the premiere, which is amazing. Yeah, I'll be there too. And everyone, stick around. Tomorrow we'll have another KenCast with Peter from Cobra Kai Companion. We're going to try to he's seen all of season 5, so we're not going to be tempted to try and drill into his brain. So we're going to talk about something else. We're going to figure out how to have this discussion so he can keep what's in his brain kind of locked up. But everyone, thanks for watching. Brian, I hope you have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
I'll see you Wednesday. And thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure to talk about my favorite live action television series of all time. And I don't mean that in any hyperbole. This was great to be here. And thank you guys for chiming in. You guys are great KenCast of fans.
Yes, thank you guys. You guys are the best viewers. You have the best comments. Really appreciate each and every one of you that's watching live, and also everyone who's watching on the replay. So I look forward to talking with you guys again real soon. Thank you again to my great guest, Brian.